to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview, one that I was waiting for so long because we contacted him just before the strike, and then we finally connected. Of course, I'm talking actor Lee Ehrenberg. He plays Pintle in the pirate movies, and the pirate movie we're going to be covering in the next few minutes. He's on Seinfeld, Tales from the Crypt, Once Upon a Time. He's in it all. Great guy. If you haven't listened to that, be sure to go back and check that out. Man, but before I introduce the movie that we're going to cover, and of course my amazing co-pilot on this sequel watching journey, we're like closing a chapter today because this is like the last episode of our fourth year. So next week's gonna be our 5th anniversary. We're doing a little bit of a celebration, something we've never done before. We're gonna have 2 guests. We're gonna have 2 people that have been we've had a lot of people that have been great people that have helped us out doing some reviews over the years. But these 2 are like our bad movie sequel experts. One's bad movies, one's action. So, of course, I'm talking about Andrew Powers and Nick Spradone. And there was only one way to celebrate a 5th anniversary, and that is with Death Wish 5. So that'll be special. So stay tuned to that. And
are you saying it's a bad action movie?
Yeah. Bronson kills a man with a meatball sub and a soccer ball. That's all I'll say. He's more gadgets in this one, but no, it's still a lot of fun. Just given the Bronson and yeah. So now let's talk. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it. We'll reminisce maybe a little bit, not too much, but it'll be a lot of fun to have 2 guys on at the same time to tackle it. It'll be great. But now for this week on our plate, we're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, the second one, Dead Man's Chest. And I got to introduce you to my pirate on this swashbuckling adventure, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I was trying to find a word that, that in pirate language that would mean I'm doing good, Doug. And I couldn't think of anything. So I'm just...
Okay. Use grunt.
Okay. So I'm going to say, okay. And yeah, I'm doing, you know what? This was a good movie. I mean, compared to the other movies we've watched, I haven't seen this one in a long time, and it was nice. I mean, it was a long movie. And there's definitely some plot holes that some questions that I have a lot. Like I feel like there's a lot missing in this movie, and which is amazing because the movie is 2.5 hours long. So I don't know, I guess maybe that's why it's missing. But watching it between the cinematography and the set pieces and the everything looked so awesome. And you know what? The choreography on some of the scenes were just incredible.
Oh, the fights,
it was really like. This series, they did such a great job, and this is a good follow-up to the first movie.
Yeah, when I talked to Lee, this one changed the game because I guess for the first time ever, they used like a technique like using like Adobe Photoshop in order to do some of the special effects. I remember seeing this at midnight when it came out, and this is only the second time I've ever seen it over the last few days. And man, I got to tell you, the special effects are really good. Like really good. So good. When you see the Kraken swallowing the ship, it just of it looked great.
Just Davy Jones alone.
I know, dude.
Yeah, but so like I said, like I can only imagine what the budget is because it really is
$300 million.
And you know what? That doesn't seem enough because it's like they must have done such a incredible job on that budget because it looks like it should be much more. The way it is. And I feel like all the actors that play pirates, like just the way they sound and talk, they nailed it. Like, you really believe like these guys are pirates, like in real life. Like they just did a great job.
Yeah. And I think you said it best in the beginning. Like with this movie, I'm not saying that, if they made another one, which I'm sure, if it wasn't everything going on.
They made 4 more, didn't they?
They did. No, they did. So they made a total of 5. Yeah. But I'm saying if they wanted to make one now, I'm just saying the way movies are made are so different. And it's only been, 18 years since this came out. Like you said it best, like the sets, like when you see them walking and they're just walking in the you see them coming out of the ocean, walking in the sand. In my head, I'm like, you know what? If they made that nowadays, that'd probably be more of like a closer up to hide that they're on a green screen. Like that's what I loved about this movie. Even in some of the scenes where there's definitely CG because you need that for when you're fighting a hammerhead shark or a conch shell, or unless those are real. I don't know, maybe, but it just like it makes you really enjoy the movie more because you're like, all right, this is actually like where I know this is taking place in something that looks like it. It's not like on a set or a soundstage.
I can't believe it was 18 years ago. I didn't even I didn't even think about it. Like it looks so good on TV because I mean, if you look at some movies from 18 years ago, you could see like it's a little dated. Even I mean, it's crazy to say 18 years ago movies look dated, but because we've advanced so much. But this movie still looks crisp, still looks good. This like everything about it. I mean, and again, I think it's the whole series. I mean, I don't remember the other ones, but yeah, I mean, I like I said, just visually. It's very impressive. And that one fight scene on the wheel, like the choreography on that was incredible. Like incredible. So.
No, I know. So good. So let's get into it. I got to say, it's so funny for this movie being such a big budget movie. This was, I think, a record for title cards. Right away. There was no hey, let's maybe show a scene at the end of the first one or show something, pirate ships in the ocean. No, it just said it right away.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I'm like, whoa.
Okay. So my first question, and this really within the first couple of minutes, this is a kid's movie? Because there's a few violent deaths in this movie.
Oh, I know.
I mean, like throat slashing. Like, I mean, like literally, so like this is this is a Disney movie. And I felt like it was, I mean, again, I mean, I don't personally care, but I can't imagine how people are not complaining because they complain about every other thing that they haven't complained that this movie's too violent because I was surprised.
Yeah. I wonder, did they release this as a PG? So that's why it did so well.
Are any of them PG-13 or are they all PG?
I don't know. Let's see.
Because I wonder what the cutoff is. Because, like I said, like right in the beginning, I mean, there was a throat slash. I mean, for a kids movie, young kids to see that
PG-13. No, PG-13.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. I'm surprised. Wow. I'm
gonna say Keira Knightley alone. Oof.
Yeah, she looked good. She looked good in this movie.
The thing about her is, I think there was a movie that came out before this series. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was like a foreign film and she was in it. And all I remember is like seeing her, even like rewatching this movie. She's so good. And hopefully you have the same plot hole written down that I have, is the fact that she is like the most badass pirate out of everyone. And then there's a scene later, she just sits down and watches. Yeah, well, we'll get into that when we get there.
That was one of them. I mean, but there's so many things that happen in this movie that they don't explain. Like right off the bat. I mean, like Captain Jack's entrance, which by the way is an epic entrance. Like it's very cool. But I want to know, how does he get in there? Like that. I want to know that story. Like what they don't tell you anything because I don't remember how the last movie ended. I thought, if I remember, maybe I'm wrong, I thought he just got away on his own boat on the ship, the Black Pearl, and he went away. Is that how like the first one ended?
I honestly don't remember because I think I only saw that one probably once.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was very odd the way definitely the way the movie started. But one thing I remembered as soon as I started watching it, like how great you have villains in this movie that aren't even interacting with Jack, who's like the main, he's the main protagonist, which he's kind of really not. But that Lord Beckett guy has some amazing lines, and he is like the quintessential 80s type bad guy with some of his lines, the way he acts, the way he treats Keira. Yeah, so good.
Well, okay, so yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing with him, and he's a small little guy, but he has that Napoleon complex. But even before we get into the movie, and this is a question I have, and it's not just this movie because this is history. It's actually based on true stuff, and you see this in every movie. I want to know who the guy was that invented the wigs that these guys have to wear. And what was the purpose behind it? Because they look so ridiculous, and some of the wigs, like, they had curls on this. They look like almost Princess Leia curls on the side. And like they had like, what's the purpose of those wigs? Like,
I will tell you right now, and then I'll Google it to make sure that I'm right. I'm pretty sure.
Are you guessing, or you think you heard it before?
No. I have a pretty good memory of watching something on this. It's because back then people had really gross hair, and people's hair they were falling out. So it showed like a sign of wealth that you showed that it was like pristine. So let's Google why.
Okay, wait a second. Yeah, but they only wore it during meetings, the trials, and all that stuff. And then when they're going to the supermarket, they weren't wearing it.
They were going to the supermarket.
Well, I'm sure they had some kind of supermarket back
then.
Clean
up on aisle 7.
You don't see them wearing it at the bars. It's the saloons. Like they only wear it in the courtroom, or to me it makes it like, it's almost like they're like, all right, how are we gonna look? I don't know if they're supposed to look tough in that, or they're supposed to look smarter. They look ridiculous. Like, I really don't understand where that came from. So if you have a good answer, I want to hear what it is.
Well, that was my answer, and I'm not saying I'm not. There's some things that say similar stuff, but it's more like conveyed wealth and status. But the number one that comes up is from headlice.org. These secrets were very gruesome and included bloody open sores and gruesome patches due to hair loss from syphilis.
Okay, so you're telling me only the people in the courtroom had head lice and syphilis, and everybody else that walked around normal?
To show it. They had to show it. Everybody had to show it.
Yeah. I don't. Great. First of all, that came from headlice.com. It sounds like they're selling something. They're
spreading propaganda.
Yeah, I don't believe that one at all. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I just think they look so ridiculous. I mean, it just so,
I know.
Dumb.
It's always so silly because the best is when you don't see the governor guy, like the main guy, Kira's dad, when he isn't wearing it.
I know.
Like, what the hell I'm like, who is this guy? And then I realized,
well, you know what though? His hair did look greasy though. It looked all messy and greasy, so maybe that's it. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Man, so good. So
I guess we'll talk about the movie now.
Yeah, yeah. So we get right into like a wedding. Well, there's a wedding happening like in minutes or the next day. I guess it was in minutes because it said you can't see the bride. You're not supposed to see me, right?
Okay, but how soon was this movie, like that scene from the last movie?
I don't know.
Like,
it seemed like it was a while because they haven't seen Jack in a long time. They had no idea where he could be. Because don't you remember the scene when he's going around? Hey, have you seen Jack Sparrow?
No,
those POV things? Yeah.
That's what I thought. So then why did it take so long for them to come with warrants? Because if they haven't seen Jack in a while, and the first movie is they were helping Jack, and the whole point of the warrants is because they were helping a criminal. Why did it take, like, they knew from the first movie they were helping a criminal. So why was it okay at the end of the movie? Because they didn't talk about it. And then why did it take so long for them to even bring up, like, they waited for her wedding day to present it.
Yeah, they're like, it'd be really funny. We could go now, but I just found out they're getting married in 5 months and 7 days. Let's do it then and ruin their whole day. I don't remember I feel like that Lord Beckett guy was like into her in the first one. So maybe that is plausible what you're saying. Because I thought he liked her.
The main guy, the main villain in this one, he was in the first one?
I think I know. I feel like he's in all of them.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he's in them.
I remember the other guy that's on the ship, but I didn't remember because he was the one that she was engaged to.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure that's that guy, Dan Stevens. I didn't look it up, but it looks like him. And I'm like, wow, that because he's the guy who's in a bunch of stuff now, like over the last 15 years. But I'm like, that guy looks really familiar. I didn't look it up, but he sort of looks like him. But
gotcha,
God. Okay. So the wedding gets stopped and it's over like, hey, you helped Jack Sparrow. And I love the setup and Lord Beckett, his delivery was the best because it was first, hey, Will, you're under arrest. And it's like, how could you do this on his wedding day? And he's like, well, here's the warrant. And he starts reading the warrant and he's reading his daughter's name, Elizabeth. And he's like, oh, sorry, wrong one.
So what is her father's title?
He's like a governor, or because he wants his power, so he must have some kind of
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he has any power whatsoever in this movie.
Yeah, maybe in this little town he has power. Maybe he's like the mayor of a little area, but the Lord is more powerful. I don't know.
So the little guy who's the villain, he has more power than her father. I thought he was like the governor of the island. Like I thought he was like the main. Okay.
Yeah, no, it seems. Yeah, no, you're right. Because he seemed like he was obviously in charge, but his own people turned on him. Yeah. So the Lord has power because in that one scene, his guys turn and put their swords up and stop him from walking. Yeah. So
okay, all right, that's fine.
All right. So then now that they're good, and then I love how he slow delivers it, and at the very end he's like, "I'll be sentenced to death in the gallows," and it's like, oh, "You're gonna murder them?" And it's like, "Holy, like what is like really?"
Well, murder them, and then wasn't there like maybe like right after this a crow's eating an eyeball?
Oh yeah, dude, the crow that was killing people in that weird prison. Yes, that was like, was that anything?
No, but again, wasn't that kind of violent for like a kids movie? Like
gross.
Yeah, it was gross. Like that's what I mean. Like I was like little things like that. I was surprised that like they're showing that. That's kind of like horror movie stuff. Like that was gross.
You know what? Right. What was the point of that whole prison? Jack wasn't there, was he? No.
Well, don't forget. I mean, the pirates, like the pirates rides. The main focus that everybody like looks forward to is the little prison that's on the ride. You know, with the dog with the keys. So I think I think they're just showing it again because it's just a big part of the. First of all, this movie does a lot of throwback to the ride. There's a whole scene when they walk into town.
I went on the ride once, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, there's a whole the whole scene when they went into town and there's a guy getting dunked in a well and all that. That's all on the ride.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really neat that they did that. No, it's just that whole scene was crazy because it was like really dark. I feel like there was lightning. And yeah, the crow was like taking people out and ripping out eyeballs. Yeah, that was
And then I guess is that a known thing that like they instead of burying people, they just throw them in a coffin and throw them overboard into the water?
I've never God. That's why they did that. See what I'm talking about? They did that, right? To set that up because that's how Johnny Depp's introduction was a legendary.
Yeah, but is that like normal? Like so, like they just
I don't know. Why would they do that?
That makes no sense because then wouldn't you just constantly have like all these pirate ships? Wouldn't you always see floating coffins in the water? You know, like I mean, that's just weird. And okay, so right, Johnny Depp has his epic. I mean, it really was an epic entrance.
Oh
but
my god! I remember seeing that movie theater and the whole place went nuts.
Oh, of course. But why was he in the coffin? Like they don't explain like that fact why they think he's dead. Like he faked it. Like that. Like where's he escaping from? You know, like because in the first, like again, there's no story. Like there's so many storylines that just go to the next scene. Like I mean, even later on with Depp when he goes on the island, they don't explain anything. Like you know, like so yeah. So I was just curious, and he shoots a bird. Like right away. So in the first 5 minutes, you get a guy's throat slashed, you get a crow eating eyeballs, and then you see Johnny Depp shoot a bird.
And then he grabs, and then he's actually in a coffin of a dead person already. Because once he breaks it open, he uses the leg as a paddle.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible? Like, because I mean, an oar is designed a certain way so you can, get the current or push the water.
The hip bone. The hip bone is kind of like cupped like a paddle.
Yeah, but you sure that was a hip bone? It looked like it might have been the femur.
Femur, but it worked. It worked enough for him to be able to. But why was he in there?
Yeah, they don't. There's no explanation.
Because there should be a skeleton there anyway. Because
you're right.
They would think his body would be in there. What would you tell me? They throw him in there, let the people die, turn into skeletons, and then pick up the caskets and use them again?
And the fact that they're arresting the other two for helping Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp was there. Sparrow was there in a coffin, so they already knew. Again, there's a story there that they're not even explaining because they even said they haven't seen him in so long, but he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It could have been something like the Lord's like, yeah, we thought we had him, and then he got away. No, he's been missing, and it seems like everybody knows who he is. It seems like he's
Yeah.
like the person, like no matter what. Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That really drunk guy that when he runs really funny. Like this is like his running is like I don't know how he perfected that or what he based it on. Or...
Well, I know what he based it on. He based it on Seagal movies. If you take Seagal's running and you slow it down, you have Johnny Depp's running.
That's amazing.
That honestly, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. I'm like, you know what? I know we crack on Steven Seagal a lot, but looks like Johnny Depp has a very similar.
You know what's
run.
funny? It almost reminded me of in Ace Ventura when Nature Calls when he gets shots with when he gets all the dart shots.
Oh,
and he's like too many darts because when he's running from all of the guys on the beach and he goes straight and then makes like that turn, it's almost like why would he run straight and then make a sharp turn like no winding turn? And he's just like arms dead.
So that's not the only thing they took from that movie because it looked like that entire tribe was the tribe that from Ace Ventura as well. So it seemed like, I mean, really, like I'd be curious to see like a still of the Ace Ventura scene when he's fighting which is Tommy Davidson. And then you take the still, and you take the still from this movie. I bet you have some of the same guys because the paint, the paint looked the same. Like they literally look the same.
And they could have done an homage if they did do that because there was a part when Johnny Depp is just like rambling on about words. He could have done the Chicago. That could have been good.
He kind of did. He did some funny things. I mean,
he did, dude. I'm like, it was confusing. I'm like, how is he? How is he saying these words?
Well, we're not even there yet. But the fact that. How did he get there, and how long was he there for? Because like the movie the movie looks like it's almost in real time. Because like you see the day, night, and everything else. Somehow it looks like he's been there for like months.
I know because he's like in charge. He has the fancy face paint.
I mean, there's so much. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But it's pretty quick that he goes there because. So then we get back to like at the same time that we see him escape and he gets back to his ship because so he's getting ready to shoot a parrot and then go back to the Lord and he wants the compass. Like that's what he wants. So he tells Will, you go get Jack, find Jack, get the compass, bring it back. Then I'll
How does he know? So how does he know about the compass?
I don't know. Well, and how does he admit later that Jack stole it from him? Wasn't that something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
But I thought he said that later when he helped Elizabeth escape, which was like the weirdest part. Is he had her in, but then he let her escape.
No, there's so many.
Did nobody know that she got out? The car, the horse and buggy she was in was surrounded.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I don't remember, but at the same time is like, should he know about Davy Jones? I mean, he's not even a pirate. So why would he know about the lore of Davy Jones?
Yeah, maybe he could be obsessed with it. Like there's I'm sure it's like maybe one of those stories. I love the fact that I never put two and two together with like the Flying Dutchman. Because on SpongeBob, they have the Flying Dutchman and he's a ship. He's like a ghost ship. I never thought of that, and it looks so good. Like when you first see that. Oh,
my mascot in high school was the Dutchman.
Really?
The Flying
That's
Dutchman.
Awesome.
Yeah, not too tough sounding. Yeah, not too tough sounding, but yeah, we were the Dutchman.
Let's go, Dutchman.
No, not Dutchmen's. It was the Dutchman. Let's go, Dutchman.
Dutchman.
Yeah. Okay.
So MAN.
I don't know. I never spelled it.
I would open. Let's go, Dutchman.
Yeah, maybe it is men. Dutchman.
I would hope
it's not Dutchman. Okay. Yeah, well, you said Dutchmen's. Let's go the Dutchmen's.
Oh, I was saying like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Adding the S for the team. Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of comedy to this too. So first of all, he meets Will Turner right on the boat, that he came out there. Which
his dad, he meets his dad, Stellan Skarsgård.
No, not his dad. He meets Will's dad.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but Johnny Depp meets him, which he's such a good actor. It's funny. I just watched Dune, and he's in Dune as a crazy character. He always plays like some kind of like weird, and I didn't know he's related to the guy that plays it. The clown.
Those are those his
his nephew or kids or something. Yeah.
So yeah, Alexander and Bill. Bill is it. Alexander's the one who's in a ton of stuff, but he was in Big Little Lies, and yeah.
So anyway, when first of all he gives him a map of a key or not really a map. It's
a picture.
Key. Yeah, like
looks like a little kid drew it.
it really did, and like, but no clues of where. Like, did he tell him where the key was?
No, nothing.
Right. So how did he know what to do with that picture? And the funny part when he asked the ship, I think he asked his like the fellow pirates, you know what this is? And some guy goes, the key. And he goes, you know what this is for? He goes, to unlock things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's so many great lines. Even the first time when he's like on that ship, which is so random that he's on that. That's what makes no sense. Like, so we know that from later in the movie, Barnacle Bill, or right? Isn't his name Barnacle Bill or Barnacle?
Well, no, it's Bootstrap. I mean, just because he has barnacles on his face, you're calling
Bootstrap.
Like maybe, like you don't think he's already self-conscious that he's got to walk around with these barnacles on his face that you're calling him Barnacle Bill?
Hey, Zitface Zach, come over here. No, but it's like, yeah. So Bootstrap. How did what's name get on that ship? Because that was later in the movie. He was on the Dutchman. So was this kind of like, was Stellan Skarsgård at this point not on the Dutchman ship, and he was just already growing?
No, he was.
On his face?
No. Oh, you mean how did he originally get there?
In that scene, because in that scene we see that's when he takes the femur. He goes over. He's almost going to kill the bird, and then he says his line is, "Why is the rum always gone?"
Right.
And then he talks to Stellan Skarsgård, and then that's when he is like,
"Yeah, but you don't know how long he's been waiting for him."
Oh no! I'm sorry. He was having like a dream. What am I talking about? Remember, he was like talking to him in the bottom of the ship. And
yeah.
When so it wasn't.
It wasn't a dream though. He was there. He was really there. How do you get the key? The map of the key. It was handed to him. Didn't he hand it to him? So he was on that ship, and then nobody else noticed him. Who gave him the kindergarten key? You know, the picture of the key. Right, I thought it was Bootstrap. Didn't Bootstrap hand it and say this is? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I thought, because I'm trying to think of if he was. I thought it was a dream also at first, but then I thought he gave him the key.
But he could have like sort of given him something in a dream, because he definitely was on that ship, because he's on the Dutchman for 100 years already.
Okay, let's. I mean, yeah, but he also said that Davy Jones sent him there, didn't he? Or because he wants Will, because he wants Will, Davy Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. That's confusing now.
Okay, well, the whole movie's confusing. I mean, like,
I
mean, and let's be honest. I mean, you know, he's kind of a ghost, so who says he can't just somehow appear wherever he wants to go? I mean, you know, considering that half the pirates are fish heads, you know, so I mean,
they look so good. I love that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so like it just I mean, I don't. You know what? Now you're making me think. Because who else would have given him the map?
I don't know.
Had to be him.
I totally forgot about that. All I remember is that it being such a weird scene. He says, "Why is the rum always gone?" And then he like walks downstairs and like this green tint on the room to make it look like dreamy. I don't know. It was bizarre.
Well, he was also drunk. I mean, so I think they try to make it look like it was a dream. But I thought he was really there. But if he didn't, I mean, how would he have gotten there anyway? I mean, like, you know, so like, I don't know, you know, like what if he was waiting there for a long time?
We did learn something later in the movie. They could teleport. There's teleportation in this movie.
Oh, so great. Then that answers the question. Wait,
that's probably what he did.
How do you know they could teleport?
What? You don't remember the scene when they're fighting all of Davy Jones and his crew, and then they get away, and then within seconds, Davy Jones and his guys appear on the ship. They just appear out of nowhere.
Oh, I thought they just climbed in.
No, it wasn't. It was like Davy Jones was looking through like a telescope, and then he was just there.
Is that a telescope? What is that
No,
thing?
what
Because
are
I called it a
what are they
I called it a telescope too. Not periscope. I
No, what are
called
the
it a telescope
pirates?
too. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But it's
pirate
not a telescope,
telescope.
obviously.
Yeah, what the hell's the name of it? No, I don't think it's that.
Not a monocle.
No, it says pirate telescope. Yeah, it says a
Isn't it?
monocular.
All right. What? And what's the point? Okay, so what's the
Spyglass.
point?
Wait,
Oh,
real quick. Sometimes Google has the best things. What is the pirate word for telescope? A spyglass, glass, or telescope? Also nicknamed the Bring 'em Closer. That is
all
like
right.
such like a low IQ. Bring 'em closer.
So, I mean, I guess the guy who invented binoculars is a genius because all he did was add 2 telescopes together.
And tape them.
Like what made them think to make one? If you obviously they know they have 2 eyes, so why would they only make one? Right? I mean, like it's like why like the monocle? Like who invented the monocle? Like what's the point of that?
I only want to be able to see clear through one eye.
Right? I mean, but like that makes no sense having a monocle. You know, like and the only person I ever knew wearing a monocle was Colonel Mustard. Like
And the Monopoly
anyone?
guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And the Monopoly
Monopoly
guy.
guy had one.
You're right. Okay,
Yeah.
those 2 guys.
Another 2 times I'm thinking of what Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. Because the guy has a monocle and he punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Do not pass go. Do not. But so then at this time is when Will starts because Kira's in prison and he has to find Jack and get the compass. So dude, when he is going around, it is the best. When like all the people, because it's like that POV, like, hey, have you seen Jack Sparrow? And each person says a little thing. And I love the one girl, like her answer is the best. Like the one girl is like, I haven't seen him in a month. And the other girl smacks him in the face. Like, could you imagine that? You just say, like, you don't, have you seen Billy? And it's like, well, what? And then they punch you and you're like, whoa, dude, I'm just asking where he is.
Yeah, but you don't remember in the first movie, every woman slapped him in the face.
Slapped Will?
Johnny Depp.
Oh, Johnny Depp.
Slapped Johnny Depp. So just by mentioning his name, it was just kind of a throwback of like every woman slaps him, that's why. So yeah, it's funny that everyone knows who Jack Sparrow, like there's no other pirate in this universe at all outside of Jack Sparrow. Like they don't mention, like, for the most part, like he's like the most famous pirate. He's the only pirate that's, like, I mean, they had Blackbeard. I think, did they do Blackbeard yet? Or is he in the first one?
Yeah. He's in the first one for a little bit and then he's at the end of this one. Isn't that Jeffrey
No, that's Barbossa. That's Barbossa.
Oh, okay. I think Blackbeard's in one of them. Yeah.
I'm sure. So yeah, but like for the most part, like Jack Sparrow really is the only pirate. Like, because outside of Barbossa. And Barbossa supposedly was dead in the first one. Like he became a ghost. I don't know how he's. Thanks for the spoiler alert. Like you didn't say
another plot hole. I don't know how he came back.
It really is.
Let's put it in the movie.
Wait, but the same thing with the monkey. Wasn't the monkey a skeleton in the first movie, or like a ghost? Because he stole he stole the gold. I believe if he touched the gold, you turn into a ghost.
Yeah.
From the first movie. Okay. Somehow he's alive in this one, and it's following him around. Okay.
And then they sell him for a magic trick from the sorcerer lady.
Well, they don't treat animals too well because they literally left a dog on the island to just die. I mean, so it's.
I thought about was Friday the 13th Part 4.
Oh my gosh,
they're not even.
I mean,
I'm thinking one of them's gonna go, like Lee is gonna yell,
of course,
like, oh,
and run and run back and maybe try to save the dog. No, they just literally leave the dog. I mean, not for nothing. They look like they're ready to leave Jack as well, so they really didn't care because the boat was leaving. So.
Okay. God, and then this part, like, really, this is why, because I told you, like, I'm working a lot and I fell asleep at points, but I always try to, like, make sure, like, when I continue, I'm at the right spot. But from there, no joke, it's Will talking to the one guy and then the guy's brother or cousin saying, oh, he'll bring you to where Jack is. And then the guy makes him jump out of the boat in the middle of the water. And then he finds the ship. He goes in the ship and then he falls for a trap. And then That was so dumb too. Like if you see like string, you see something, you're gonna keep pulling on it. Oh, I'm really following it. Like,
that was a complete Rambo trap. I mean, the guy, like, it was pretty cool. The guy in the mud, like, you didn't even see him, when until he opened his eyes, But yeah, but like, I want to know, like, how does word get around, like, where that boat is, or where Jack is? Like, there's no telephone, there's no mail service. Like, how does everybody know where? Because this is all like different islands and stuff. Like, how do they get around? Like, it's and they know exactly.
I think it's
where
what you
to
mentioned. Go. He's the guy. Like, he is the name. So it seems like everybody, if they see him or one of the women sleep with him or something, they make sure, hey, let me tell everybody. It seems like that's what it is, because everybody had an answer. Everybody knew who he was. It's not like you could hide. The only people that didn't know who he was the tribe. They just, again, they never explain why they think he's a god. It's not like, it must have been something like, they could have been like, oh, he produced fire or something.
Right.
Or something, but nothing.
Or, what it should have been was like they had a statue that kind of like he had longer hair or something like that. And they thought that was him. Right. That would have worked, because you see that all the time in movies. But what I want to know is, so the scene before that, he's in a coffin and he's paddling to his boat and he's on the boat. Somehow, and again, this is all real time because Will basically was in jail, met the small little governor guy, and then he's on his way to here. They don't tell you the time frame, but you got to assume it's pretty quick. But in that time frame, the pirates got captured, thrown into a ball, and Jack became the leader of this tribe. But like, how much time elapsed for all this to happen? Because again, for Jack to be with how he knew to put eyeballs all over his face and to be the lead, like, how did he know to do that? How long was he there for? And how did his entire crew, they're pirates, so they're used to fighting and everything else, got overtaken by people that really don't have weapons. Like, I mean, like, you're pirates with cannons, swords, knives, and all of you got taken. And like, you're talking about a good, 20 of them, 30 of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they missed out on a really funny scene because as like Will is trying to battle, which is noble of him, like being hung upside down, still trying to fight people. But then they just laugh when the one guy just shoots the dart. They could have done a scene with all the guys doing their jobs on the ship and each one just getting hit and falling down and like falling over.
Something.
They could have done that.
There's no story to that, and it just, again, it doesn't make sense. And the time frame, like how, like they should have been like 6 months later or something like that, so we know how long. Okay, fine. It took Will that long to take a boat there. Okay, it would make sense, but this looks like it was like the same day almost. Like the minute he left the governor's island, he went to this island, and somehow Jack's been ruling things, for who knows how long.
Yeah, so give the guys beards, something to make you think like, oh, okay, times change. No, they look exactly the same. So in this tribe where they've been, they're making sure they keep them shaven to the same thing we saw in the scene before and afterwards, and the whole ball thing. And the fact that there were other guys in another ball that we didn't know about, like,
how does that work? How do they lower that ball? And how is it holding all that weight? And how this is okay? This is a tribe that looks like they live in tents, like a typical like Ace Ventura tribe. Yet they somehow concocted like a massive ball to fit 20 guys that will hold their weight and some kind of contraption to lower it down. So it's because it's a pretty far distance down. Okay.
Oh, it's insane. And the other guys like put some pressure on it, like when it falls.
Yeah.
It snaps and breaks. And I'm like, wait, this must have happened before. Like, how is that even an idea? Like, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll dangle them in between these two cliffs. Like,
and what are they dangling? Like I want to know, like, is there like a big bird, like a dinosaur bird that's like going to feed on them? Like, what's the point of that, like, jail? Like, because it looks like it's a lot of work to bring that ball back up if you're going to end up taking one at a time or something. Like, there must be a reason. Like, it would make sense. Like, if there was like a dinosaur bird or something there that's going to like eat them.
Funny. Yeah, we have the Kraken. We have other things. We have
so why can't
people? So yeah.
Right. So that would have made more sense. All right.
Yeah. And then when Will like starts to wake up because it seems like they're getting ready to cook them over a fire because it seems like they're cannibals. Like they don't really mention that, but it seems like it because even in the scene when Jack runs away and throws paprika all over himself.
I don't think they have to mention it. The fact that they have a large human-sized pot that they're ready to cook Jack in, and the fact that There is wait, where did they get paprika from? Like,
well, the whole thing in the movie is, which they didn't even mention that tie. We saw it, but they didn't show any more. Was the East Indian Trade Company was the company that the Lord Beckett like was involved with, because all they did was show it on his desk, and he had like that like crest on something on his desk. And then later, when Jack found the paprika, it was that same crest, but they never put two and two together. Like they could have said, "Oh, the Lord, somebody knocked them out and put them in this tribe." There was like no reason to show that connection because it didn't matter.
That's a major attention to detail, which most people, I didn't even put two and two together. I wasn't even paying attention to that part, so like, that's like, without explaining it, that's like, you'd have to really be paying attention like you did, so that's ridiculous.
It was like a very obscure logo. And I'm like, all right. And Jack like looked at it for a second. So I'm like, oh man, what is this? And no, it was just so bizarre. But when he wakes up and then Jack can't really help him out. And then we find out why, which I think is so dumb. Like when the guy's like, oh, well, Jack, you know what? I know why. Like the one guy that always agrees with him, that like older guy. Like,
yeah.
Seems
like he's awesome,
like the
though.
Right-hand man. He's like, you know why? Because if Jack did help us out, then they think he wasn't one of them. And then they skin us all or something. You're like, I don't know. It seemed like Jack just say, I got the life.
No. Okay, Jack really could care less about anybody except himself. So because I mean, like, what do they like? What do they think Jack's waiting for while they're dangling? Like literally, that rope could snap at any moment. Like Jack really is all for him. I mean, he does a heroic thing later on, but for the most part, he's really all about himself. Yeah. I mean, he really could care less. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, I do think this whole scene is funny. I just wish there was an explanation. Just something.
Yeah, no, the scene's really good. Like when they're swinging back and forth and they start climbing up. The thing was so dumb was when we finally realized we saw that the other guys in the ball were people we didn't know.
Yep.
That was so bizarre because like when Will is like, wait, psst, and the other guy's like, I'm going to keep going. It's like, there's no reason to rush it. And then the fact like the guy like grabs a coral snake by accident. What?
Okay, so first of all, what did he say? There's only room for like 12 or 6. Like what was he talking about?
I didn't know what he was talking about either because they're both hanging. We saw where they were both hanging from.
Right. So why couldn't they all just? Why couldn't they both make it? Like he said something where it could only fit something, and it didn't make. I was trying to figure it out, but why didn't the guy in the bridge like do something on his own? Like why didn't he like instead of running away like. He could have yelled from there, like, hey, come over here. Like, instead he gave them enough time to escape.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love that he grabbed a snake. I'm like, why the hell is a snake on the side of a cliff? You're telling me as a snake, you're like, this is the best place to be. Because a snake needs to catch other animals. I don't think other animals are hanging out on the side of a cliff.
What if the snake fell off the cliff and landed on a little cliff and now he's stuck there because he can't climb? I mean,
and it wasn't trying to bite the guy. It was just like, look, I got to latch on.
Right. He probably like, look, I'm saved. And all of a sudden he just died in the ball with them. So
that would be like the funniest that'd be like a Family Guy bit. Like some guy's climbing up and the snake's like, oh, a human, he can help me. Bites him and then falls off the cliff with him.
Like, can a snake climb a wall? Like a cliff? Like, I don't know. Like,
well, speaking of snakes, I said to you earlier, my daughter was asking if they poop and it was remarkable looking. It was shocking.
Well, you need to, first of all, why is your daughter asking about a snake though?
Because we were talking about animals. And
okay.
We were talking about...
Did she ask about other animals pooping or just snakes?
No, it was just snakes. So then what we do is we Google, we watch stuff whenever she is inquisitive. And me and my wife were like, oh, I didn't think it looked like this.
So you're saying a snake poops like a human. So do they have like little toilet bowls or are they just like,
yeah.
Okay. But they can't flush because they don't have any hands. So
it's true. It gets real stinky.
Okay. All right.
They like to read books about history.
Oh my gosh.
That's the first one I can think of. I was trying to think of a newspaper or like something that I could use a pun on, but that's the only thing that came in. So there's a line in this movie that I need to clip out as a...
You mean like Histler instead of Hustler? All right, never mind. Moving on.
I like that one. That's good. But there's a line in this movie. I kind of want to clip it into like a video to like send to people for things. But when we talked about earlier, Elizabeth somehow sneaks out of her guards when there's like 17 people around her. Somehow she sneaks out of which is so dumb. And all the guys are panicking in a way, like, and even her dad's like, "Oh my god, where's my daughter?" And everybody's panicking, but she's actually with Lord Beckett. And dude, his delivery of the line when she comes in, I forgot what her first line is, but he says, "I'm listening," and she pulls the gun out and points it to his head, and he says, "I'm listening intently."
Yeah.
So
she's a badass in this movie. I don't remember like was she a badass in the first movie? Because like somehow like first of all, some of the things she does, I mean, like just on the boat itself when she was escaping, somehow she makes that contraption with the dress, without anyone seeing her.
She's a like a Henson, Jim Henson puppeteer.
Well, it's a marionette. She makes a marionette out of the. She really does it, which amazes me because they're all looking up at her or at the dress, and they don't see her standing.
Yeah, she's 5 feet away. Yeah.
Okay,
that's such a silly thing, but no, she's honestly and I'm sure she did other movies after this that had action in it, but she is she's great. Like she's so good, and I don't know, it looked like she did all her own stunts, and she had great line delivery. Even like it was so believable, like the scene with Jack at the end. We'll get into. She's a great actress. Like for a movie like this, for you to watch it roll and say, "Wow, they're great." Like Orlando Bloom. He's good. He's a good actor. You watch him, you're like, all right, this is good. Her, you're like watching, like, this is like great, like so believable. She's like hey, you're supposed to be like this pretty girl, and she's like a 100% badass.
I think she did make not an action movie, but it was I thought some kind of like either revenge or some kind of action movie after this, I believe. I'm gonna have to look that up later on, but yeah, she made a bunch of good movies. No, she's great, and she always reminded me of Natalie Portman, and that's why like she played her double in one of the Star Wars movies, and so no, she's good. So
I didn't know that she played one of her doubles.
In Star Wars, she was one of the backup.
In the movie, or like
in the movie? No, in the movie, like for the princess. So like when Natalie Portman, like, was the middle three. So she played like one of her like people behind her. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She looks just like her. Yeah.
That's really awesome. So here's another plot hole that I have, or maybe like if somebody's a boater or a pirate that's listening, they can see us at sequelsonly.com and let us know, or at Twitter at sequelsonly, and let us know how this is possible. When Pintle and his and Glass Eye,
by the way, they're such a good comedy team.
Perfect.
And Pinto, I mean, really, Lee crushes it. I mean, he's so funny in this and so good.
Yucky teeth, his hair, his skin.
He goes right into it.
So their job is to steal a boat. Okay? This is obviously it's the Black Pearl, a monster, huge boat, and it's not in the water. How do they get it in the water? How do they get it in the water?
They push it. I mean, that's what they were doing. They were pushing it into the water. I mean, okay, first of all, even if it was in the water, you're not pushing it. This is in the sand, which means it's like dug its like, like the bottom into the sand, which would make it harder to move. And they're still pushing it into the, so. And he's got one eye.
And he's got one. Yeah, and he has one eye. And then when it's almost in the water, like we don't see them for a long time, and then we show them again, and it's in the water. And he's fighting a monkey for his eye back. And Pinto's the only one on there. So I'm like, wait, so one guy was pushing it? What was the other guy? It's not like he's starting an engine or anything.
And, it's not like they're both in good shape. Like, I could see maybe if you had, like, two commandos out there, like Commando and Rambo, maybe they could, push it. These guys are not in shape. First of all, I want to know how they get into the boat. because there's no ladders or anything. They don't they have they throw down one of those rope ladders? I think
Yeah, it was a big rope. Yeah.
Okay, so how'd they get up there? Because there was no ladders on the rope
Oh,
on the boat.
That's a good point. How did they get up there?
Unless is there maybe a trap door in the bottom that they could just go into somehow, or maybe
that would be smart, right? There should be a second option to get on your boat.
Yeah, well, it would be smart until someone leaves the door open by accident, and then it floods, and then your boat sinks.
Honey, I leave the door open. I don't know. It's a. Oh my god, dude! That whole scene. So we talked about it already a little bit, with when they're swinging on the balls, Yeah. So when they're in the balls as prisoners, the prisoner balls. There's no way to really explain this without it sounding like that. But when they finally get up to the top, again, this is kind of what we're talking about with I don't even know if we said this before we were recording or during, but the choreography, when they're in the ball and they're moving around and everything, that's so cool because that's those actors. We see, these are these guys doing this scene. And but Jack's escape, yeah.
How heavy is that ball, though? I mean, it's holding 20 people. So, you think it's that easy to move? I mean, I could see if it's on a hill, but, to move it, and you have the one little guy who's basically dangling because he's trying to reach the floor. But how that's got to be super heavy.
Yeah.
I don't see people moving a ball like that unless it's rolling down a hill.
Yeah. Because everybody would have to do they'd have to go. It's like a hamster ball. They'd have to move at the same time. There'd be there'd be people with broken legs, broken arms, their arms slip through and everything. Yeah, no, it's just visually it was such a cool escape to see them climb up and then start to roll and that. And then the fact that we saw the other guys die because when the guy grabbed the snake, he screamed and then they snapped back. Right, that's all it was. Right?
Do you think pirates would scream for a snake? I feel like pirates are tough. I mean, they see a lot of things. They see sea monsters and krakens. You think a snake is really going to make a pirate scared?
Maybe he wasn't a good pirate.
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, because I think if you're going to be scared of a snake, you might not make it as a pirate.
Yeah, I think that's part of the test. You don't get your your pirate license.
Because they do see a lot of things. I mean, clearly look at Sinbad. We watched Sinbad. I mean, they saw a Medusa that had snakes in her hair, so
they see everything.
They see everything. So I can't imagine them being. That's why they didn't make it. Okay.
Yeah, but when those guys fall, obviously they were super high up. They land in the water, then die. But Orlando Bloom and the guys, they fall when they start rolling in that ball, and then they fall in shallow water. It shatters. Pick it up and start walking. No one's hurt. Nobody's saying, "Oh, nothing."
Correct.
Just nothing at all.
And you know what? It also looked like it almost looked like they could have slid through some of the slats there.
Yes.
I feel like, or at least maybe take the smallest people and and then they maybe can try to figure out a way. Because I was also trying to think of how they get him in there because there didn't seem to be any kind of opening to that ball.
Yeah, maybe they maybe it's a hamster ball and it's two halves. And
but they didn't show. But it looked like they weren't even trying to open it. So it looked like there was no opening whatsoever. So how'd they get in there?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay,
their silly escape, and then you have Jack when he was getting ready to get cooked after he covered himself in paprika. He's running away, and then somehow is smart enough to say, "Hey, I'm gonna fling these coconuts from the end." And then he has fruit all over him. He looks like a fruit skewer on an alcoholic drink.
This whole scene, it's very comical obviously, but it just it was just two scenes going on at once and both of them funny, both it was just it was like a fun ride kind of thing. Even Jack's whole thing, he's running around with a stupid stick on I guess a shish kebab, strapped to his back, and the fact that he's still running with this and leaning over running, then everything somehow landed directly on it. These guys, the aim was perfect.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. It was good.
I love the way he used it to spring across, like an Olympic event. And then when he lands, he's like, ah ha ha, and then he leans back, and you just see all the fruit moving down, and then That was pretty funny. And then when he fell and everything fell on him, I think one of those fruits should have landed on him.
Oh, it should have landed right on his nuts. Like I was waiting for a coconut to land, like because he thought he was safe, and all of a sudden one lands right like that. That it made it look like that was waiting for it because it all landed right around him.
I know,
and that one should have landed on him. That would have been funny.
They should have that happen.
Okay,
and then they're all back to the ship pretty quick. All the guys that are in the ball.
By the way, the fall that Jack does, there's no way he's surviving that. He literally went through like about 4 bridges, and like I mean, it would like, and he landed on hard ground. It's not like he landed in a bush or anything. He landed on solid ground. He's like,
I know,
he's almost like a cartoon character.
Yeah,
like,
no, he's indestructible. Really,
well,
no matter
he's
what
also
he
like
does.
He's the luckiest like pirate, and I think that's like, is he really that good, or he's just super lucky? Because I mean, I started watching the first one before this one. I didn't get to finish it, but like everything that happens, it's all like a mistake. Like he should have been caught so many times, but somehow he gets lucky. So like, is he really that good of a pirate, or he's just super lucky?
Maybe he's like the Mr. Magoo of pirates. He happens to take the right step, and everything just works. It seems
honestly,
like you're right. It seems like everything works.
It really is like, and it's really like a Mr. Magoo thing. Like he escapes death so many times because of one like thing that he does that just somehow is a mistake that works in his favor.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Right.
But when he finally escapes, and then you see him, we mentioned this earlier, like his run on the beach, and he's like getting away. And you're right, it is so sad that they leave the dog.
You skipped the whole wheel turning fight.
That didn't happen yet. That's later. Where are you?
It is later.
This is like we're only at 1 hour right now, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the other one happens not way later, but yeah, because the other guy didn't even get involved yet, because that's another stupid plot hole. When they're trying to get enough people to pay JV Jones, they need 99 souls.
They don't explain why.
That never happened at the end. Nothing came from that.
And they didn't explain why they needed 99. Like, what was the point? Like, what's the purpose of 99?
No, because it was 100, and then I think he said,
yeah, okay. So why 100?
Skarsgård volunteered his soul, I think, or something stupid.
Okay.
So it was 99, but he was collecting people.
Well, yeah. Well, the pirates, that was a pretty funny scene too, though. He was collecting the people. Because it made it look like he was collecting 100 people, and it was 4.
Yeah. Well, how many do we got now? 4.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I need rum.
Okay. Listen, when a movie goes past an hour and a half, I kind of lose track of time. So I thought
because they kind of blend together, because we just saw like
and it was on the same island,
so a wheel,
right? So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So we're at the dog part, and you know what? I'm first of all, whose dog was that?
That was I think it was everybody's, but it seemed like it was Pintle.
Okay, so he was he was a pirate. The dog, he was a pirate dog.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna leave him like that? Like I mean, I was surprised at that. I'm surprised like no one ran off the tree. Even Jack could have saved the day and grabbed him real quick and ran around. I mean, but no, they left him to die.
But the fact that those guys were that hungry that they chased the dog, they gave up on the ship that somehow Pintle was able to, get on top of, but they couldn't.
And you know what? No one seemed sad that the dog was left behind. Like it'd be one thing if Pinto was like you could see him crying, like, oh, like upset. No, there wasn't any remorse about the dog being left behind.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
He was a good pirate too. I don't know. Was he in the first one?
Who, the dog?
Yeah. Or you think that was just an homage to the ride?
I think. Well, yes. I think there's a scene in the first one where the dog is holding the keys and they're trying to escape the prison. I don't remember who's in. It might have been Pinto, and that's why the dog is in this one, because maybe it's the same dog. Now that I think about it, because I think that's on the ride, the dog holding the keys while the pirates are reaching through the bars trying to get the dog to come over, and so I think they showed that in the first movie. So my guess is that's the same dog that's why they're on there. So not only did the dog save them, they don't save the dog. They don't repay the favor. Okay.
Not cool, man. You gotta help the dog. And then here's you good?
Yeah, I don't know which way it's facing. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry about that.
We're fine. We're back.
All right.
So,
All right, we're back.
the one part we talked about a little bit earlier, the whole dress thing, like that was so like she needed obviously to get to Orga or wherever, like she knew that they were going, but she had to do that.
Okay.
Like that was the only way she could get there was to scare these guys to go.
No, okay. So the first part of the trip, they talked about the dress. This is before the dress started dangling, right? They found the dress and they thought it was some kind of ghost. They found
it on the ship, and then they're like, "Oh, there must be one here." And I'm like, "She's right behind you. She's leaning over right behind you."
Correct. And the smallest pirate ever. Like, I mean, she clearly looks like a female. Like, you know, so like clearly hiding. But the scene with the dress dangling, first of all, you know, you have pirates on the lookout all the time. No one sees her climbing up there, setting up a rig and like that, right? And the best part is the fact that she's dangling this to get their attention to look at, you know, the sign that was, you know, the burning sign. They're not looking at it. The way she got them to look at it was she was already on the ship floor saying, "Hey, look over here." So instead of using that entire contraption idea, she could have just said, "Hey, look over here," without even thinking about the dress thing, and they would have looked. So like the whole dress thing made no sense at all.
I know. It was like floating past the window. And they're like, "Oh, look." Ah.
So dumb.
Some of the guys think the ship's haunted. Like,
and again, so no one saw her light the sign. No one, like, why couldn't she just tell them? I mean, she's clearly hiding on there. Why can't you say, "Hey, this is I don't know." It was just like, it was almost like it was like a filler scene that really didn't need to happen.
Yeah, no, it did not. And then the fact that that ship just happens to be around because Will's there later with the same guys, and then he sees the dress and he's like, "Oh, she's alive." Like he realizes, like, "Hey, she got out and she's there."
Right.
Man. So then, so now we get Jack, and he avoids, which I guess that was something in the first one I don't remember, but he always avoids the deepest part of the oceans because he's scared of the Kraken. So then, what they need to do is they need to figure out, because he needs to find the key.
The key. So he needs to find the key.
So he goes to the lady with the horrible teeth. In the middle of she's like in a treehouse looking thing, like in the middle of like a river, and she goes there, and then she wanted to sleep with Will. Again, this is obviously, now we know it's a PG-13. So for some reason I thought it was PG, but when she wants to sleep with him in seconds, like no shyness about it.
Does she look shy about anything?
No,
I mean, I was waiting for her to smack Jack. I figured like that would have been another one that he was with. I mean, listen, Jack seems to have no shame, so you know, yeah, okay.
She likes Jack because it's her compass. We find that out right away. Like it's her compass, and in order,
she's like a voodoo doctor. She's like a voodoo doctor, kind of like so. Okay,
yeah, they bring her an undead monkey as payment.
That monkey is throughout the whole movie, though. Like he somehow winds up back on the ship every single time.
Do you think that's the monkey, like the go-to Hollywood? Is that the same one from like
Friends,
Dr. Doolittle and Ace Ventura and Friends? I'm sure it has.
Well, how long do monkeys live for? I mean, you got to think, if this movie was 18 years ago,
Bubbles
Ace Ventura
is still alive. I think Michael Jackson's Bubbles.
Michael Jackson's Bubbles. I don't know about that.
Yeah, monkeys can live a long time. I feel like they can live into like their 40s.
Do monkeys like have like years like dogs, or are they like human years, like they're in their 40s? Like, do monkeys? Are you like, you know? Yeah, this monkey's, you know, celebrating his 50th birthday, 40th. He's in his 40s. He's in his 40s.
Bubbles is still alive.
How old is Bubbles?
41.
That's ridiculous.
He lives right now. Wow, I want to go. The Center of the Apes in Wauchula, Florida.
It's called the Center of the Apes?
Yep. Bubbles is there. Bella. Oh my God, dude. These are like celebrity ones. Bubbles. Bella, Career Builder 2004 Super Bowl 40 campaign. Sammy from Dunstan checks in.
Wait, they're all there? What is
Bo
it?
and Joe from the Tiger King.
So this is like the retirement home for like celebrity monkeys?
I guess so. Dude, Jonah and Jacob, who were in Planet of the Apes from 2001. That's pretty cool.
Wait, they're all in this place, the Monkey Central, what it's called?
Yep. It's called the Center for Great Apes.
Oh my gosh.
Bubbles, man. And
Can you go there?
check the stories they're talking about. Oh, can
does
you
like
visit?
Bubbles?
I would hope so.
Does Bubbles have like gray hair? Like, is he like do monkeys age like with gray hair, like a beard and everything else? Like, okay. All right.
But then Dunstan checks in. That's a classic.
That's amazing. That's
amazing.
You
can. Wait, maybe you can't go. Is it open to the public? I don't know. If you're in Florida or in the area, if you've ever been there, let us know.
I was going to say, I want to know. It sounds intriguing. And what part of Florida?
Oh, it's not open to the general public. Interesting.
Well,
wow, you're going to adopt an ape. Oh, my God. How much do you think it costs to adopt an ape for the year?
For only a year?
Yeah, like how much it costs?
$10,000.
Like
$10,000.
$22,000.
Wait, so you borrow the ape for a year and then you return it?
No, you don't borrow it. You just pay for its probably care. So Bubbles should be set for life, right? Michael didn't leave it to Bubbles in the will?
You think he left his whole estate to Bubbles?
Bubbles,
yeah. Okay, so if you have Bubbles, Dunstan, and like who do you think is like running the show there?
Dunstan. He was a thief. He was a big.
Well, he was pretty big though. He was also big.
He was, yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't blame them not having it open to the public. Like, do you really like a retirement home for monkeys? You know, celebrity monkeys. Do you really want to deal with? You want to deal with the people? You don't want to deal with them.
Yeah, the autographs. Dunstan. That's not my real name.
I can't believe all the celebrity monkeys go to one place.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
If you own a celebrity monkey and they're getting old, you know where to take them. That's where they go. But so now we get probably the coolest parts of the movie, besides like the wheel fight, the Flying Dutchman. When you see the Flying Dutchman for the first time, and God, it just looks so cool. Like the special effects in the scene, the CGI just looks great on all those guys. Like you can't tell what's real and fake. That's how good it looks.
Well, I think you could tell the people that are walking around with the Shark Man and the Hammerhead Shark. Yeah, you could tell those are fake, I think.
Those are fake. But the other guys that are in the back that just have like the barnacles on their face and stuff.
There's just so many.
So good.
Well, how about the guy that's part ship? Like the guy that comes off the wall?
Oh my God. Oh, wait. Do you remember he comes off the wall and his brain stays in the wall?
Yes,
That's like the craziest thing. Like, so how's he talking?
How's he? Well, I mean, he is part ship, so I mean, I don't think there's any rules, you know. But what did he do to get like banished there? I mean, like, you know, all these other, you know, they all have like fish faces and barnacles, but this guy was turned into a ship.
He was.
And so, like, can he only peel himself like halfway? Like his legs don't peel off.
And like it was painful. He was like, oh,
yeah,
I know that key.
And like the minute like they're about to get answers from him, he decides to go back into the wall. Like he doesn't give him all. He's like, you know what?
I've seen that. You didn't even ask key before.
Well, he's probably annoyed because they didn't even ask once. Can we help you? Like maybe you could help you get off the wall. No, they were selfish. Like they really didn't care about anyone else on there. They just wanted that key.
Yeah. And then how he gets on there? How about they make Will go to the abandoned ship by himself?
Well, would you want to go?
No, but I would think one more person goes with him. They say, "Okay,
who's
see ya." They give him like a
who's
lantern.
Gonna volunteer? Who's going to volunteer?
I don't know, but they don't know the Dutchman is going to be there.
Well, of course they do. That's why they're sending him there. Jack knew.
Oh, I think Jack knew, but they didn't know that. I don't know. Do you think Will knew if he went to this abandoned ship that the Dutchman would come?
Yeah, well, I think because he needed that key to give to Jack, so Jack could give him the compass to bring back to the governor. So yeah, I think they do. I think what they should have done was like, all right, do we have any volunteers? And everybody does the old step back, except for the one
Yeah,
person.
that'd be good. Yeah.
But
But he gets there,
yeah,
like
so
a
yeah,
couple people are normal and there. The one guy's crazy because of obviously what he saw, which is so confusing. It was like, wouldn't like the Flying Dutchman and Davy Jones and the guys get rid of everyone right away? So you're telling me they ravaged them, left? Oh man, I forgot I have to go pick up my kid at daycare and then come back because the one guy was so crazy. He kept cranking a rope.
yeah.
The other guy was like dead and like kind of like stuck to the post. And then all these guys come back.
How long do you think they were there for?
I don't know. It was just bizarre that it's like, oh yeah, let's go get Will now. And then the funniest part was when they captured everyone, everyone was quote unquote almost dead. So when they go through the line of the people, you have the one guy that talks shit, and then he gets like his throat and thrown overboard.
Would you're on a boat with like half fish guys and a octopus face, and you're gonna talk smack? Like what do you think that's gonna do to you? Like, I mean, like that was a little ballsy.
I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be whatever you need me to be for 100 years. Yeah, sure. And everybody's like, great, you can go too. And good. And then Will, when they get to Will, it was like, what are you doing here? You're not dead or some other, I forget what else he said. I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's so weird. Like, wouldn't they just be like, all right, this guy's here, let's kill him too?
Do they explain why he has tentacles in his face?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't even think, is that even part of the lore, really? Was Davy Jones a half octopus man?
I don't think so. I just thought he was buried like, because I you know what, I feel like I've always heard it like on Bugs Bunny, like, it's buried in Davy Jones's locker. Like I feel like I've heard that term before, but I don't think, I mean, until this movie, I never heard of him having an octopus face. But I would like to know his backstory. Like, why does he have an octopus face, and why does he need everybody to live there 100 years?
It looks pretty cool. The drawing of Davy Jones in his locker is pretty cool. He's on like the bottom of the ocean. It's like an old drawing from 1892. A story called Davy Jones' Locker.
Yeah, see, I think wild. I mean, I've heard that in movies or cartoons or something. But like, what is his story? Like, why does he need these souls? Why does he need it? Is it just because he's lonely and he's like, listen, if I got to be stuck on this boat, then I'm going to get as many people to be here? Because why can't they leave?
Yeah.
What would happen if they left? Like, I was like, can it be any worse than the situation they're in right now? Like, if they decided to jump overboard and try to swim away, what's the worst that can happen? What, turn into
away. They were on the island by themselves, away from Davy Jones.
Yeah, but for a purpose.
I know, but could they just have kept running?
I know, right? Like, so why aren't they? Like, what's like it can't get any worse than what the way they're living right. I mean, they're getting whipped left and right, right?
Yeah,
like they look like. I mean, first of all, there's no women there, right? There's no women pirates.
There's only 3 women in this movie. The 2 girls we see in that one scene, and Keira Knightley.
Well, no, and the witch doctor.
Oh yeah. So 4 women in the entire. I don't know. A pirate. I don't know if I want to be a pirate. Unless it's like, at every port maybe there's one, but it was so weird that there's nothing else. But no, but you know what? To your point of this whole story, so Davy Jones's locker, and like a bunch of people wrote stories like within like the 1791, 1811. But it was like a phrase that would said, he's gone to Jones's locker, also known as he's dead. So maybe that's how they used it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was so weird that he had like this ship of souls that he took. So he just had, I don't know.
And again, there's no, cool. Like, it would have been cool if they just had, like, even if Will Turner or Bootstrap, whatever, talked about the lore, like, this is why it's going, like, nothing. There's no explanation of this whole Davy Jones thing. I mean, and like, that's his heart in, like, in the box. Like, do they explain why that's there or what? Like,
no, they made when they said the heart in the box thing, they said it and they made it sound like it was just a metaphor. he put his heart in it or something. And they're like, oh, what do you think that is? Do you think it's really heart? And it was like, no, it couldn't have been that. Well,
I thought it was like a loved one, like a woman that he loved back in the day when he was a pirate, because there is like he's into. It seemed like there was a relationship that he misses or something, because they kind of like allude to that, and so I thought it was something to do with that person that maybe died and kept her heart. But the fact that it's his, like I don't understand. Like like why is he cursed? Why does he look like, and why does he need his heart like buried? Like yeah,
why does he want his heart back so bad?
like yeah. And like if it's important to keep it safe, how about like get rid of the key?
Yeah.
No one will ever be able to open it.
Yeah.
Okay. Or at least hide the
positives of finding this heart. What can you get with it?
Well, supposedly it's. I think they mentioned in the movie that whoever has the heart can control the sea, or something like that.
But he doesn't have his own.
What does
heart.
that mean? No, what does that mean? Like they don't explain what that means. It just says they can control the heart. So why does the government like? Does he want to showcase it? Like what? Like there's so many. Like they really don't explain 90% of this movie. It's just scene after scene. So, which is fine. The movie's still enjoyable, but like I want some answers.
Yeah. But it's like the teleportation. All I wrote was when Will said, because remember what Jack told him? If you get in trouble, say Jack Sparrow owes you one, right? Or owes you a favor?
No, I'm here to pay your Jack Sparrow's debt.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. So then that's when he looked at him in the telescope, and then Jack looked at him, and then they were on the ship.
Oh, that's right. He's right behind him. He was right behind him. That's right.
Yeah. It was just so weird. Like, what?
And well, Jack's face too, when he realized he was right there, was pretty funny. Like,
yeah.
Like, no, yeah, you're right. You know what? I totally forgot about that. You're right. They can teleport. So
that's what it was. So 90. Well, it makes sense. They're ghosts, so I guess they could do that. So then it ended up the deal was so Jack has to give Davy Jones 99 souls for Will's wife. So like it started off with a compass. I need a compass to get my wife. Then it was like, okay, I gotta get the compass, but in order to get the compass, I need a key. And then now it's like, okay, in order to get the compass, I need the key, and I need to get 99 souls. Like,
and did they explain why Jack owes? Like, what's the debt that he owes? Like, why does he owe a debt? Like, did he lose a bed or something? Or they don't talk about it?
No, they really don't talk about it. No, well, isn't it? That's what's confusing. Whose ship is the Black Pearl? Isn't it Davy Jones's ship?
That's Jack's. No, I thought it was Jack's.
No, but I think,
or maybe
he took it from him because that's what he said. He says, you've used my ship for 15 years. So I think that might be the debt. But again, they don't mention it. Yeah.
So really stealing one ship is worth 99 souls?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to have to do some research now after this podcast. And I need some answers on some of these things because there's no answers. I wonder if there's a lot of deleted scenes because the movie was 2.5 hours long.
I hope so.
I'm gonna look. Okay. Unless there's a bunch of pirate nerds out there that can give us some closure on some of these.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No, that'd be great. Because even the next scene, I'm like so confused thinking back. Why does Will have to go back to the ship? So Will has to stay there in order for Will to get out? They have to get the 99 souls?
Well, I like collateral. I guess.
That's what it was, yeah. And then the way he gets off the ship. How about the way he gets off the ship? What the hell was that game? I'm thinking he's challenging to a duel. Yeah. It was like a Yahtzee cup.
And at first I thought I understood the game, but I didn't. Because it made no sense. And so like that would have been nice if someone said, all right, this is how you play. Instead of saying, Will, like, yeah, I know how to play. Like, how about like the audience doesn't know how to play though? Why don't you explain it to the audience? It
was
so I'm glad Will knows, but
it was 5 dice, and somehow he says 7 5s, and I'm like, no, there's 5 dice.
That was as soon as I once he said that, I'm like, all right, I guess I was playing wrong the whole time because I thought it was like a game of BS where you have cards and you pretend like you have something that you maybe don't.
It seemed like that, right?
Right until he said 7.
Because Will said something and he said it before we saw what he looked at, and I thought he was bullshitting. I thought it was like BS.
Correct.
Nope. He looks and he has what it is, and then his dad lifts it up and he has like 2 1 3 1, and he was like, 12 fives or something ridiculous. I'm like, what?
And the bet that Will's doing, I think he would have lost anyway. Like, I feel like Davy Jones had, like, because he clearly beat Bootstrap, and I feel like he had a better role than Will, and so like I think if his father didn't lose on purpose, Will would have lost. So like I don't understand. Like again, you know what? I need an explanation in that game because that didn't make sense.
Yeah, that made no sense. And then he's like, oh, and then I'm thinking like, oh, his dad lost, but he's like, all right, looks like you won and you can get out. I'm like, what?
So
how did let me get out of here.
So do you age when you're in that? Because like it looked like he's been there forever. Bootstrap. He just added on another 100 years. Like, is like, does he die before then? Like, is he like still has to live like? Right. So what's up? Then who cares? Like, at the end of the 100 years, does he become human? And like, or is it just like
no?
Like,
you're like maybe he can go to porn heaven.
Okay. All right.
We'll call back to one of our first reviews ever.
Oh
Meatballs
my gosh.
3. But no, there were so many things that didn't make sense with that. Even like Keira Knightley. So back to that. So she's able to. So we even forgot about this. No, that we didn't forget about it because we fully didn't get in the scene. But she's marionetting the dress, and she is like standing 5 feet away, and then she makes the flames go on the ground, and it says Tortugo. So then the people think, because obviously they're haunted, hey, let's go to this bar. And then just so happened that Jack is at the same bar. And this is where he's like recruiting because he needs the 99 souls.
I wonder if there's only like one island there or like 2 islands, one where the tribes are and the ones where like all the bars are, because it seems like, again, just Jack happened to be at that same place. Like, you know, like, and why would you, if you think the boat is haunted with a dress and now you see like a fire, why would you even listen to that? I would go as far away from there as possible. Like, oh, you want me to go there? Like, no.
But the bar scene's great because once like the fight starts and you have all these people fighting, and I love that she ends it pretty quick with a little like bottle over the guy's head.
You know, again, you know, even that bar fight scene was kind of unnecessary. Like, it really didn't do anything, but it was. Listen, you're pirates at drinking. You're gonna have to have some kind of bar fight. You know.
Yeah. What was that guy's name? Who was her boyfriend's name from the first time? First one, I gotta find this guy.
He was like the Chancellor or something, or the
What?
He had Commodore or something.
Was it
the Commodore? I think.
Oh no. He's not the guy that I thought was that actor.
But he was the main bad guy in the first one. So like, but why take him along? Like, what was the purpose of taking him along?
I don't know. I guess because at this point he just wants to get souls, which to me that still makes no sense. So like, if he was able to get 99 people to sign up and be on the ship, they would have just drove there and said, "Here you go." That's what I don't get.
But he only got 4, and then if you add the Commodore, it's only 5.
Yeah.
So like, what was his backup plan? and the pirates that he was grabbing, those 4 people, like they were the worst pirates.
You're right. His reaction was so great. How many do we got? And he's like looking at like the list, and he's like 4. And he's like, whoa.
But based on like from the audience's point of view, it's like, you know, they're interviewing one after another. So you're thinking like they have this whole like, you know, crew. No, they got 4.
It was just those 4.
That's such a Naked Gun. That's such a Naked Gun kind of joke.
Yeah. Oh man. So then we get something great. Like, so we cut back to Davy Jones and he's playing the piano. So he has some like heart. It just showed that, you know, he's a good guy, you know?
But he plays with his face.
I guess that's cheating, right?
I mean, yeah, of course it's cheating. So he is he an octopus? Like, so like, because it looked like he had more than 8 tentacles on his face. Right? I mean, he was surrounded by that.
Oh,
but why isn't he?
He had a ton. Yeah, I don't know what he was. Yeah.
So why was he playing with his face? Why does he have hands? Oh no, he has claws, I think. Does he have claws?
Well, he has one claw. Yeah, he has one lobster claw.
Wait, so he has one normal hand and one lobster claw?
Well, I don't know. I just remember one I know is definitely a lobster claw.
Yeah, I saw it right. So I know he has one claw, but I was curious if he does he have a normal hand for the other one, or is it like a flipper? Is it like is it a flipper? Is it
one dolphin flipper, and then the other one is a lobster claw.
And it is funny that he's playing like the organ with his face, just and it looked cool. I mean, the way it was happening, like he's such a cool like bad guy, and it's the way they they made him just really Okay.
So when Will's able to leave, this is when he ends up on that same ship that Kira just spooked, and then they tell the whole story about because he sees the dress, and they're like, oh yeah, there were the ship was haunted, and then this is like right at that point, Davy Jones realizes that Will stole something, which that scene was wild because he's stealing it from this guy's face, who's it seems like his face is like Medusa in a way, like independent snake.
It's alive, like it's almost like his face. Yeah, yes.
So he's trying to, and it was,
and like I mean, like you tell me he doesn't feel it. Like he's lifting it's like lifting your chin, or is it like, if someone has like pigtails, but you don't, you wouldn't feel it if you go gently, you wouldn't feel the hair. But if you lift, like because they look heavy, those tentacles, so you would think that he would feel it. Okay. So gross.
But man, it was kind of gross. He realizes that the key's gone. I guess he realizes like, hey, where's that key? I usually hide around my tentacles. Because as soon as that happens, that's when he releases the Kraken. And wow, that looked good, man. Again, I know technology, but just think like, I know things can change like within like a year or two, technology, the way the advances happen. But I think we always mention, because Jurassic Park is the pinnacle of special effects, and you think like that's 93, 94, 13 years later, this looks like it looks like a real ship getting swallowed by like a real like octopus creature. Like it looks great.
Yeah, the CGI I think blended in so well that if you were naive and didn't know like CGI was a thing, you would think that's a real like octopus. I think like it didn't look cheesy. The only thing is, now we see the battle with the octopus a few times, the Kraken. Somehow he's able to, first of all, why is he attacking the people when he can just smash the boat within seconds? But he does seem to only attack the non-actors, like the non-important people in the movie, because everybody else somehow misses everybody, but grabs. They all survive. Like it would be good if he grabbed one of them at least, just toss them over. I'm not saying kill him, but no, they miss him everyone except for
they give him the call sheet. And he makes sure he takes off like 15 down. He's able to throw around, but it just looks so good. And how about like the Lee's comic relief with his buddy Kraken? Is it Kraken? Is it a long A? Like Kraken? No, it's Kraken. Oh no, Kraken.
No, they were so, and I remember them being funny in the first movie. Like they were just such a good, like perfect. I mean, that was a great role for Lee. I mean, he just killed. They both killed it.
No, I know, so good. And then how about Elizabeth again? Because there's no women. Every time she talks to Jack, he's about to like orgasm. Like later in the movie, he seems like he's really gonna. But even like when she like pops up on him after the bar fight, and she like follows him onto a ship, he's like getting like, whoa, okay. Like he's like,
well, I think there was tension between both of them in the first movie. There was a little, right. So obviously that carried over. But I mean, clearly, if I'm Will, I'm pissed. I mean, like, especially what happens later on. Like that. Like I don't know why she did that. But yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, well, pretty soon is like, that's what's good about these movies, even though they are long. There's so much action within them. So much. So it makes everything like flow when you're watching, because right from here, it's not too far after that they get reunited. Will's back with them, and the fight with Norrington, her
Yep.
boyfriend from the first one that Jack brings on board, because that's when that fight happens. Like it's
Okay, so
pretty much
before
right when they get onto the island. Because remember when she
correct.
sits with the compass?
Well,
Oh, this
well,
compass is nothing.
well. Don't forget. First, they pick up the buried treasure. So that starts before the fight. They get the treasure first.
Yeah, when she's sitting on
They
it, when she's like, "This thing doesn't work," and
no
he's like, "No, it's right
yeah no,
underneath you." Yeah.
right correct. No, but before we even get there, there's one question I wanted to ask you that happens in a lot in pirate movies and shows and stuff. Is when
Mhm.
Will comes down the sail with a knife and he sticks it in the
Ugh.
sail and you see that all the time. Do you think that would really work?
No, but MythBusters should cover that. I know
They
they've done
should
some movie ones. That is
because
one.
that's
Yeah, you're
something.
right. Because if it's really sharp, it's obviously going to go super fast. So that's be like the
Yes.
perfect sharpness that it like barely is going through.
So let me ask you, what do you do that if he's sliding down and all of a sudden it just stops right in the middle? Like you're in the middle of the sail, your knife is not going anywhere. Like you're trying to wig and you're stuck now in the middle of the sail, in the middle of the air. Like what do you do?
That's got to be something from a comedy movie, like that same thing. Like the guy trying to do it. I don't know if there's
He's
ever
like
been
trying to be a hero. He's trying to be a
spoof
hero
movie,
and he
that'd be
slides
one.
down. Well, no, I think there's I think there's like an 80s comedy pirate movie. I want to say Ice
Really?
Pirates or something like that. Yeah, it sounds
Really?
I'll have to I'll have to send it to you.
But that'd be
Yeah,
the
so
thing. Like you stick
yeah.
that in, you're going down, yeah, and then it gets stuck. You fall, then you knife yourself by accident because
Or you die. Yeah,
doing
you die
something.
and you die. Yeah, that'd be good. So, but no,
But
this
yeah,
whole scene now on the island, it moves so fast. The minute they find the treasure, between Pinto or what's his name,
Pinto.
Pinto. Okay, Pinto.
Hello,
Between
Puppet.
Pinto, yeah, Pinto, and One Eye stealing the treasure. You got the fight, the 3-way fight, which is great. And how does that happen? Like how do you know who to attack? Like, are you just swinging like left and right because you don't know who's going to attack you? Like, wouldn't it make sense if they like, all right, we're all going to fight each other, but let's go after one person first. Like, let's like team up. Like, two
Well,
of
that's
them
how
should
it
team up.
started. It was a handicap match at first because it was Jack and Norrington going after Will, and then it switched like a few minutes in. But this is kind of what I alluded to earlier. Like when you said when we started, like the plot holes. To me, it makes no sense. Keira Knightley is like one of the most badass. She's watching, doing nothing, just watching her boyfriend get double teamed, and then what does she do to help? She faints. She
Well,
fakes
don't.
faints, and no one does
Oh,
anything.
that was the worst fake feint. Like, I mean, like they clearly were not. Yeah, I know. But okay, think about it this way. Don't they always say like girls like when a guy fights over them? This
That
is
is
this
true.
is 3 guys that she kind of likes, or has
Yeah,
liked. So I mean, for her, this is more like, why am I getting involved in this? Let them, duke it out.
true.
You know.
Only
But
the
yeah,
strong survive.
which again, you know what? The fact that Jack is fighting Will, like, does he fight Will in like every movie? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
they're constantly working together, but you clearly can't trust Jack at all. So, like, at what point do you say, like, all right, I got to stop. This guy either almost gets me killed every single time, or like it's always out for his good. Why am I like wasting my time with him? Because it seems like
Yeah.
there's no trust factor at all.
For anyone, like even there's one point when Will mentions like, even when they're like, hanging in the ball and they're talking about Jack, it's like, oh no, he cares about us. And it's like, nah, no, dude. Like he
No, he
does
doesn't.
not. He's like
Yeah.
the weirdest protagonist in like movie history because he really is out for him. I know there's sometimes he does a little bit here and there, but for the most part, he's like, what's in it for
Well,
me?
you know what it is. He's for the most part he's for himself, but when it's really big and can't, like, he has to. And again, I don't think he's doing it for them. I just think it's because he another story he could tell.
Yeah.
If he comes at the end, to do the big climax, so then he has a story. Look what I did. Like, so it's not. Again, I don't think it's for him. I think it's just for more stories to put under his belt and say that he's really for helping people, but he's not. He's really the villain in all the. He's the villain in all the movies.
Yeah. No, he's the one that's causing all the issues for the other characters. Like
Yeah.
he is if he didn't have the issue with Davy Jones. He's the problem of everything.
No, he had an issue with Barbossa in the first movie, Davy Jones in the second one, and I forget the other ones in the other ones, but he's got an issue with everybody. So, like, why would you want to either be a pirate with him, knowing that so many people have an issue? Like, you know what? Join the other. You should join another pirate.
There's other pirates. Yeah. Join the other guys that don't see a girl on the ship who's 2 feet away from it.
Are there other pirates? Because I feel like, again, each movie it's only 2 sets of pirates. Every movie, it's Jack's team and the team he's going after. Okay.
What a time to be alive, right? Obviously, there's pirates. Like when I was talking to Lee, we were talking about that a little bit. Like, hey, how do you do research for a role like this? And then we were kind of like going into like off on a tangent, talking about like, in like, the Indian Ocean, you have all these people in these mega yachts, and you have these like quote unquote pirates coming up and taking them over and like living in them, like taking these people's yachts, and it's like it's just wild to be in a. It's like even like around here, like we were just driving our car, we had to worry about somebody robbing us. Like it was a frequent thing. Like there, it seemed like they made it seem like it was so frequent. Like you can't go across that sea because man, they're gonna get you. It's like, really? How are they going to catch me? Do they have better wind than I do? They have an engine.
There was a really good show called Black Sails that I watched.
I remember.
And it was all about,
I heard that one.
Yeah, great. It's like Game of Thrones of pirates, right? And it's like literally like a pirate's really. It's all about fun. I mean, like all they do is they chase girls, they drink, they fight, and then they get gold. Like it's basically it's an adventure every day, and like it probably is a fun time period. Unless you're like a Jack Sparrow where everybody hates you.
Yeah.
Although he seems to have fun every single time. So who knows?
Yeah, it always works out for him. Like Mr.
Always.
McGoo, I think it's a really good analogy.
It
no
really
matter
is.
what he does, it works out. Even like the wheel.
Yes.
Just think about it. Like obviously it's crazy that Will and Norrington are fighting on top of it, but Jack's inside of it, perfectly running, because if any misstep, he's dead. Like the other guys misstep, they fall off for the most part.
And the map or the map is constantly there or whatever he was trying to grab whatever, like it's always right where he is. But speaking of the wheel fight, so what do you think at that point, the two guys on top, you're like, all right, this is not going to work out. Why don't we get down on the ground because either we're both going to die by wheel, not even by each other, like why continue to fight? Like you can't like call a timeout and say, hey, let's get on the ground and then start fighting. Like, no, they continue to, because now not only are you worried about a sword, you got to be worried about stepping through the hole of the wheel,
or like a tree branch. Like they don't even think about tree branches coming and taking them out. No, nothing at all. We'll be fine other than that. But and then this is like, so at the same time, isn't this when, so what does Conch Shell Man steal? Is it the map?
The map. Well, he has the correct. I think it was the map,
because it was the other guys that were gonna try to take the chest, like the actual chest.
Wait a second. What's the map for? Because they already have the chest.
Yeah. So Conch Shell Man? Because I know Pintle Lee is carrying the
chest.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know
what's the paper?
Yeah.
What's the thing that Jack kept trying to get in the wheel? Wasn't that? I thought it was the map, wasn't it?
It must be, yeah.
But the map to what? They already have the chest.
I don't think they even knew. Or no,
you know what?
Most likely we didn't know. But the fact that Conch Shell Man takes it and then he perfectly grabs a coconut and knocks his head off.
Okay, first of all, Conch Shell Man has a problem because his body is a dick. Because he literally leaves the head behind multiple times, doesn't even wait, even the head is yelling at him, and the body just keeps like leaving him there. Like he doesn't care that he doesn't have his head.
Yeah, no, I love that. It was like almost like here's how cool our CGI team is, because it's like, hey, come back here, and then it wasn't coming back, and then just when he turned into like a hermit crab and started crawling,
oh my gosh, yeah,
whoa, I'm like, that looks awesome.
That was pretty creative, though, because you thought the head be like left. See, I think it would have been funny if the head was just left there. So so all right.
So then, so then yeah. So the chest, somehow at this point, Jack is going to the chest. So maybe it was right in that scene because he opens the chest and inside is the beating heart. And then this is when he puts, because he runs back right away. Again, he's all for himself.
Wait a second. There's 2 chests in this movie, right? Because in this chest, they didn't have like pictures and stuff. Like, I'm trying to think. No, because the heart was in his chest because he puts it in the sand thing. So what was the map? Then I'm trying to think of like.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget it too, but I remember Conch Shell Man. I remember it's 2 separate things because I know Keira Knightley caught them sort of not trying to steal it, but she seemed like she was like, "Hey, where are you going?"
Right,
and then that's when all of Davy Jones's guys came out of nowhere.
Right, and then they turned around
to fight them off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right, yeah, totally forgot.
Interesting.
You know, and it's probably a big part of the movie that we both forgot. So clearly, they didn't explain it that well.
Well, again, if it's a big part of the movie, it shouldn't be in my last 5 notes because that means it wasn't really that important. Because at this point, this is when they get back to the ship, the Kraken gets released, and then this is when they're like, "All right, let's time." But the timing thing was like, I did not understand. Was that supposed to be like some kind? Will's not a funny character, so it was kind of weird that he's like, wait. Well, wait.
What was he waiting for? I mean, I like the concept of what he was trying to do. So like bring the Kraken closer. And then they could really blow it. But like the tentacles were already up there. So like
there wasn't for being a smart sea creature that's been around for I guess years upon years and survived. Wouldn't they know by now? Hey, you know what, guys? If we're gonna put our tentacles up, let's not put it to the open windows where the cannons come out of. Because if they moved all the tentacles over like 5 feet, it'd be fine.
Well, yeah, it's exactly like it. There wasn't one tentacle that was to the side. Every tentacle was lined up with it. But like, what was he waiting for though? Because it was only tentacle. It wasn't like he was waiting for the head to shoot the head. It was just the tentacles. And not for nothing. In a split second, that tentacle could have crashed down and destroyed the entire boat and killed everybody in there. So like, if Will waited any longer, that could have happened. So like, what was he waiting for?
No, I don't know. No. And then it worked. It was like, whoa, we shot him. Okay, what we're gonna do next? Hey, let's get all the gunpowder. There wasn't enough. And then I love that right hand man of Jack. And it's like, yes, I have to throw in the rum. And he's like, oh, okay, throw in the rum too. He just looked like.
What was the rum doing? What did they throw the rum into?
They put it in with the gunpowder just for more of an explosion, more fire to try because they wanted the Kraken to swallow it.
Okay, I got you.
Be done at the same time.
Did we ever see the Kraken's face?
Well, no, we did. We did see that it looked like the sand pit monster.
Oh, you're right. So the mouth part. Yeah, it did. It looked exactly like that.
So, like that's all I thought of, and it had like one little like weird thing like for the mouth. It was so weird.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, and it doesn't look like it had teeth. It just had like the strings hanging from its like the sand
it had
pits.
Teeth.
Like,
it had a million. Oh yeah, it was like a million.
No. Well, that didn't look. They were like wiggling. That wasn't teeth. That was like hair.
Something.
Well, I don't know, but
little hairs.
Well, in the sand pit, that wasn't teeth. They looked like look like rubber. They look like
well, they were rubber. They were rubber. They didn't have a good enough money for the special effects budget. It was just rubber and then sounds of like an eating sound that they had.
Okay, all right. It's funny. There's two things that one I think when it exploded on the Kraken. Someone was it Jack or someone yelled fried calamari?
No, wow!
I'm almost positive. Really? And earlier, I don't know if it was about the conch head or whatever. I thought one of them called him Scungili.
Really?
So I heard, So I heard Scungili, and I wrote down explosion fried calamari.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry, calamari.
Calamari.
Okay.
Oh man, I have to go back and I have to go to that scene because that's really amazing.
Okay.
So this is when they have to all get off the ship. It was only like everybody went down, and it was Jack and Elizabeth on the ship, and she's wow.
And Will. Oh,
Well,
no.
Will
Okay.
was getting everybody
Okay.
in,
This is,
so he
yeah,
wasn't
that's right. You're right.
watching this, so he
That's right.
didn't see this happening. But
Right.
she's like flirting with him. I'm like, wow, you could die in seconds. Like you have this creature that could still like, kill you in a way, and you're like making out, and it was like really like sexual.
No. They don't make out yet. They almost do, right? I thought because don't they make out when Will sees it? Oh,
No,
so
Will doesn't see
Will
it.
did
No,
see
Will's like, no, he's like on the he's down on a ladder, not seeing everything because when she came down, he was like, oh, what about Jack?
I don't think
he's going to stay with the ship.
I don't think the kissing is scene. She kisses him at the end of the movie where Will sees it.
We're at the end of the movie. Where are you right now?
No, because isn't this where she handcuffs him to the?
Yeah, after they make out, she tricks him.
No, she was going to make out, and then because Will doesn't know she handcuffs him later in the movie.
I know she
kisses him.
We don't see him again.
Yes, you do.
He jumps into the thing's mouth.
Oh. Then
and he gets
Will does
on. Okay, the thing splooges all over him.
But Will does see there. Then there's a scene there. So I think we're mixing two up because there is a scene where she's going to kiss him, but she doesn't. And then there's a scene where she does kiss him, and Will sees it because he kind of has a face like, "What are you doing?" Like he was questioning it.
The scene when she kisses him at the end of the movie, like at that scene when they're all going to the boat, and she says she kisses him, she handcuffs him. She goes down onto the boat, the little dinghy, and they go away. And he goes, "What about Jack?" And she goes, "He's going to stay with the ship." But he didn't see that kiss because he was getting everybody in at the same time.
I could have sworn there was another scene where he kissed. All right, whatever. All right.
Or maybe that was in the first movie because they definitely
this
all
movie.
were like I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember another time that he saw them interact close like that.
Okay.
Because the only other time they weren't on the ship, they weren't all together for that long. They were sort of flirting on the island, but they didn't kiss.
No, I know. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, after 2.5 hours, I kind of lose some things. So she basically murdered Jack.
She did.
Well, that was her plan.
Yeah. Well, she found out. She said exactly what it was. It was almost like the movie Insidious.
Only after him.
Same thing as.
Right.
Same story. It was like, hey, they're gonna keep chasing us because of you. It's not the ship. It's not us. It's you.
How about let Jack make the decision?
He wouldn't make the decision to sacrifice everyone. What do you mean? Even then, he looked like he was gonna be honorable for a second because he realized, oh, you know what is after me, and then he's like, screw this, and he grabs the thing. He starts the fire, and he's trying to get out, and then that's when the Kraken shows up.
Yeah. So okay, so that's the last time we see. So the Kraken eats him.
Well, we don't know if he eats him. We just saw him like spit all over him, and then he chooses to jump into his face.
Okay. What was that spit? Like he just sneezed on him?
I don't know what. Yeah, it seemed like that. As he wiped it off, and then he's like,
yeah. Okay. All right. So then after that, they go back to the witch doctor.
Yeah.
And let's say he was eaten by the Kraken. What is the witch doctor going to do? Like, wouldn't you need a body? Like I don't know anything about witch doctoring, but like I would assume you can't bring back someone from the dead unless there's a body to bring back.
Yeah, or a piece of them or something. There should be some kind of lore of like how to bring that. No, you're right. Like, and it's funny because I haven't seen this since I saw it in the movie theater. When she's like, "Would you guys do anything to bring him back?" It reminded me of almost like a hidden camera show, like trying to like get people to say things about someone. And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's there!" I was like, "He's there already," and you saw like the footprints, and then it's Jeffrey Rush.
I was thinking, what if they all said no? And Jeffrey Rush is waiting. Jeffrey Rush is waiting off screen. Like, all right, now's my moment to come back and show them that I'm still alive. And they say no. Now he waited there all this time, and he just like, now what? Like, so okay, I don't remember the third movie, so I'm assuming then the movie is about finding Jack and saving him. Is that?
I would think so. I told you when I googled
Yeah.
it to look for a poster, I don't remember 4 and 5. I remember 3 of them. Like I definitely do, but I don't remember 4 and 5.
Aren't there like ninjas? I think there's one movie.
Ninjas,
I thought there was like ninjas or something, like an or an
pirate
Asian pirate
ninjas.
or Asian pirate crew or something like that. But I also
Really?
I think in one of them Will is not in it. I think Will it's only Jack and Elizabeth or whatever, and Barbosa. Like I don't think Will's in like either the next one or the one after that.
Okay, so the next one, here's a quick synopsis of it. So again, after the next one, they took like a little. Oh no, is the next one Stranger Tides? Oh no, the next one's At World's End. So I don't know what year that one comes.
Okay,
What year? 2007, man. They pumped that. Oh yeah, because they filmed these 2 movies back to back, and they
Yep.
were gonna
Yep.
try to. Yeah, because there was something like they wanted to do like more of a continuous story, but they just wanted to film everything. But the next one has Will and Elizabeth join forces with Barbosa to free Jack from Davy Jones' locker. So that's where he's at.
Ah, okay.
Oh, and the next one has Chow Yun Fat. Oh, so the next one is the Chinese pirate.
I told you I did. So I did. So I did
Wow.
see that one, and you know what? I might have even seen the one after that because there's, like
The
I said,
next
there's
one
one.
has Penelope Cruz.
She's a pirate. Yeah,
Oh my God. Wait, no one else is in it except Jack. Oh my
I
God.
told you. Yeah.
So the next
Oh,
one only has Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz, Jeffrey Rush, and nobody else. Ian McShane's
wait.
in it
In the next one?
in the 4th one.
Okay, fourth one. Right. That's what I thought. Ian McShane. What does he play? Blackbeard? Maybe.
Edward Teach, but he's not.
Oh,
It's wild. He's not. None of the other people came back. And
yeah.
then the other one
Told
came
you.
out in 2017.
And then I think they came back for that one, the last one, because I think there's like Will's son or something like that, or
Yeah.
maybe they have a son.
Yeah,
Okay.
Will was in it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Keira Knightley,
So
Javier Bardem. Oh, I gotta see that one.
yeah. So all right.
May have to check that one out. But yeah, and then like it was so funny, like when I was finishing the movie, because I had like 15 minutes left. I'm like, all right, all right, 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, you know what? Thinking about all the credits, all the CG. It was like 12 minutes of credits because the ending scene was the one with Jeffrey Rush when you see him and he's
Yeah.
like,
Was
"How's my
there an
ship?"
credit? Was there an end credit scene or no?
No, well, I didn't stick around. I was like, man, I got stuff to do. But no, when we saw him and he asked about the ship, and then it was like, oh, this is the end. But wow, so that was the longest movie we'll ever cover. It'd be very hard.
Well,
To
don't
top
say.
that.
Well, I mean, you know, if we happen to get anyone that's still alive from The Godfather 2, you know, we still have a shot.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, but so I don't know because obviously we both would recommend this movie. So I'm gonna try to like I'm putting you on the spot, sort of. I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a question I can ask you regarding because you'd recommend this movie, right? Like that's
I would
a no brainer.
I would absolutely. I think it's a again, visually, even if you didn't see the first one, just visually, just everything, like it is so cool. The scenes are good. The only thing I would suggest if they, you know, to fix the movie is just give us some answers. You know, maybe a scene where Jack explains how he became a tribe king.
Yeah.
How you know, Davy Jones became Davy Jones or something. Like there's no explanation. I just feel like they just have these scenes without, like, again, unless there's maybe deleted scenes and it's the movie got too long, which okay, that would make sense, which I'm going to do some research after.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing. Otherwise, it was very entertaining for a 3-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie. I think it has enough to grab your attention, and if you enjoy the first movie, you'll enjoy this.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's the perfect way to close the chapter on year 4 before we embark on year 5. Like one of the larger budgets ever. And I thought that was one thing that was really cool about this movie was this one had the record for, I think it was Labor Day weekend. I'm pretty sure it was this one. I think it was like a 3-day weekend opening until Top Gun Maverick beat it.
Wow.
Like just recently. Like I think it might have been something longer. So maybe it was a 4-day weekend. But I'm like, wow, that held up that long. And then obviously 300 million budget, it still ended up grossing 900 million. So the movie still
I believe it. Yeah.
I feel like they always would do that, but it didn't do. The first one had a reception that was like, it was so
Well,
like,
that's what it
wow.
was. It was so right, and it was so well done, the first one, that everybody was dying to see the second one. And I'm sure the third and fourth and fifth ones did not do as well. Because it's also at a certain point, like, all right, how many times are you gonna see Jack Sparrow do the exact same thing over and over
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
But again, I think this. I mean, I don't remember the other movies. I'm sure they're all entertaining. But same time, I think, taking Will and Elizabeth out of it, they're part of the mix, right?
Oh
They're
yeah,
so well
Kira to
together.
me is the
So,
movie. Like I know Jack is
right.
like Jack is this character that is so large. It's really wild to think about. The character was written into a storyline of a ride and got so big that they put him into the ride that has been
They
there since the late 70s.
Well, so they put him in. I mean, did you go? Did you see the ride with
I went on the
with
ride. Well, I
Johnny
only
Depp?
went on it like after that he was in it, but
Yeah, right. Okay.
from what I read, like yeah,
So they also, I don't know why they got rid of it. So when they updated it with Johnny Depp, they also updated a part of the ride with Davy Jones, that as you're going in there, water, like a waterfall's coming down, and you see an image of Davy Jones talking through water, like
oh
at you.
yeah, yep,
Very cool. They don't have that anymore. They got rid of that part,
really.
which I don't understand. Yeah, yeah. So, 'cause I was just on there
I think
recently,
I remember
but
that. I
I mean,
went in 2021. I think we went.
yeah, then it was there. It was there. So it's not there anymore. But yeah, I mean, you know what? It also, I remember when they first opened it, Johnny Depp was sitting in the scene where in a part of the ride where there's an animatronic of Johnny Depp, and he was
That's
surprising
cool.
guests. How cool is
That's
that?
awesome.
Imagine going in there and yeah. So,
I love when they do that. Like when Jimmy Fallon does that with people.
oh yeah,
When they
yeah,
have
yeah,
people
yeah,
talk about stuff and then like the rock pops out or like
yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
like larger than life celebrity. Yeah. So this is a perfect way to end for 4 years. We're kicking off next week. It'll be special. No interview for it. I almost got one of the
Charles
characters,
Bronson.
one of the bad guys. One of the bad guys who dresses like a woman in order to kill another one of our great interviews that we did early on, cinematographer. I should know his name.
Is this
He
the
worked
last
on
one?
Munchie. This is the last one. Yeah, this is one of his last action movies because after
So
this
is he like 80 something in this movie? Like, is he old? He's old.
yeah, he's like 77. Oh no, is he that
Oh,
old? 74 because he was 67
oh
or
my gosh.
65 in Death Wish 3. So no, he's definitely up there. And you'll see it. Again, it's like
That's
it's just the appreciation of the genre and like
sure.
just like wow, they made another one of this. And it is so much later after 4. I don't know about if it's really like time-wise, but his age-wise. He like hit that point in his life that of like 4 years looked a lot. I think it was 6 years after Death Wish 4 because I feel like this came out in 92, 93. I had it on VHS. I watched it a lot.
Oh man.
All 3 of them, but I remember watching this one way too many times for being like 7 years old, 8 years
Oh my
old. So this
gosh.
would be fun to and it was Don
Okay.
Fauntleroy's wife is in this movie. So she was
Oh
in
wow.
Munchie Strikes Back. She kicked the dog in it. So yeah, no, it'd be a lot of fun. And having 2 of we have so many people that we love that help us out, but Nick, Andrew, they embrace the silliness, so it'd be fun. And then year 5 we're gonna make sure we bring back Egan for a good horror movie, so it'll be a lot of fun. Death Wish 5, that'll be next week, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.